Namaskar, I'm Dr. Damanjeet Kaur. Thank you for joining me again. I'm a consultant psychiatrist, Faith Hospital, Chandigarh. Today I am back again with one of the most sensitive topic of discussion in mental illness, that is depression. आज के दौर में हर किसी को ये वर्ड कॉमनली यूज किया जाता है एंड एवरीबडी इज लाइक द लेमैन लैंग्वेज. Psychiatry is synonymous with the word depression, but it is not the case actually. So everybody feels down at times in his or her life, चाहे वो breakup हो, bad grades हो, loss of job or extreme work pressure, death of a loved one, or even a birth of a child. Sometimes depression comes with no apparent reason in external factors. Depression itself is ignored and untreated in this era because it drains out the energy of a person so much that a person can't take steps for himself or herself. So there's a difference between sadness and depression. Sadness is when you have any stressful life event in your life, you get to tend to sad, and it may last for hours or a day or so. But when you feel low persistently for most of the time of the day and lasting for many days in a week or for months or weeks, it is said to be depression. What are the signs or what are the symptoms a person can feel when one is into depression? One is persistently feeling of low mood. Second is lack of energy, lack of pleasure in the daily routine activities. Then there's change in the appetite. It can be increase in appetite or decrease in appetite. Then there is change in the sleep pattern. Person has a decreased or increased sleep. Increased sleep is also seen in depression. Then feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, feeling of loss of self-confidence and self-worth. Unrealistic ideas come into play. For example, one starts feeling that nobody is liking him or her in the surroundings. Then there's difficulty in concentration or there is impaired memory. What causes depression? Depression क्यों होता है? So there is a biological basis behind it. Researchers have shown that there are some neurochemicals in our brain which actively play a role while maintaining your mood and behavior changes. The major neurotransmitters which gets disturbed during the phase of depression is serotonin and noradrenaline. So when these they decreases in one's brain, mood symptoms appear. So second is family history of depression is often seen in patients who are dealing and battling with depression. Then gender difference is also there. Males the prevalence rate is 5 to 10%, while in females it is approximately twice as much as in males, that is 15 to 25%. Why do females suffer from depression more? There are many factors. Number one is the most important and inevitable factor is the biological makeup. Yes, females have to face fluctuating hormonal changes in their whole life, be it menarche, puberty, menstruation phase, or pregnancy, then menopause. So these different phases, there are different types of fluctuations in the hormones which lead on to the mood swings and different types of anxiety and mood symptoms. Secondly is in a country like ours where more than 50% of the population is residing in rural areas, still there is a lot of social and cultural pressure on females. It has been seen in many of our Hindu families, females are not allowed even to enter into the kitchen for daily routine activities while she is menstruating. She is not allowed to participate in any spiritual rites or to go to the temple while she is menstruating. So this is again a cultural pressure which is there ongoing on females that that has a pressure on the female's mind. Third is WHO report has said that approximately 2/3 of the married females are suffering from domestic violence. It can be physical or it can be emotional. With the beginning of this pandemic era, 2020 and 2021 year has changed a lot of people's lives, not in the way we have started living or working, but also the way our children have started studying and playing. So this entire change was an uneasy process of adjustment, for which nobody was prepared, and which has put a lot of pressure and stress, leading on to anxiety, depressive disorders, and to the extent of the suicide. According to WHO recent report, it has been reported that more than 150 millions of Indians are suffering from varying severities of mental disorders, and there are 2.2 lakhs of suicides every year. That shows that 1 in 7 Indians are suffering from mental disorders of varying severity, and they are contributing to more than 1/4 of the global suicide rates. Suicide has become the 4th leading cause of death in young people, next to road accidents and violence. Suicidal thoughts, coming on suicidal thoughts can be fleeting or frequent type, active in the sense person is planning to kill herself or himself, and passive thoughts can be, for example, a person is thinking about what if happens if I will die. So any of the thoughts, whether it is fleeting type, frequent type, active or passive, they all have to be taken into a serious action. There are some, although it's very hard to predict that a person is suicidal, but there are some signs or the warning signs which we can always take care of, and strictly we should take into consideration. Some of the signs can be there's sudden change in the mood of a person, there is uncontrollable aggressiveness, there is increased social isolation of a person, expression of direct or indirect way of wishing to die, explaining any plans, giving away the prized possessions, then having a close family member lost to suicide recently, or a friend lost to suicide recently, severe guilt prevailing in one's life, then previous suicidal attempts. It has been studied that previous suicidal attempts can be as much as 20 before committing final suicide. So these are some warning signs which is to be taken seriously, and if your family or family member or near and dear ones or friends are showing these kind of warning signs, act out immediately. Suicide prevention is not only, it's a collective effort at the individual, relationship, community and society levels. I am here to give you some tips as a caregiver of the patient who is battling for depression and suicide. Number 1 is understand the depression. Depression is a serious condition because it is not only pathetic for the patient but also for the attendants, and depression itself drains out all the energy from a person, and it prohibits the person to take steps for themselves. So it is a serious condition and has to be and one has to intervene in this illness. Number 2 is that understand that it is not laziness. It is if person is lying down for most of the time in a day, don't consider that he or she is lazing around, and just intervene and help that person. Depression is not personal. Sometimes the person is not able to connect to his or her own emotions. So it is not a personal thing. Secondly is offer encouragement and support. You can't personally fix anyone's depression. It is not easy. But giving the personal support and empathy can help a person to come out of this phase. Number one is encourage the person to take the treatment. Call for medical help, go to a mental health professional, seek treatment plans, meet the counselors, meet the psychiatrist. This will help the patient to come out of this problem very easily. Second is listen to the patient. Remember, listening is again a very powerful tool. If you are a good listener, listen to the patient. Giving empathy and social support helps the person to build up a trust upon you, which again helps in improving his positive feelings. Give positive reinforcement. Remind him or her about how much precious his or her life is for the ones who are very near and dear to her or him. Make plans. Offer a help to make a routine schedule so that he or she does not leave his routine daily course activities. Make a plan, engage her or him in any of the activities, like taking her or him to a walk, or planning for any involvement of a person in some hobbies, etc. Understand the suicide risk. You should take each small hint also as very serious, and just avoid any sharp instrument, any sharp or weapon or medications should be out of the reach of the patient if a person is expressing his or her thoughts regarding wishes to die. Then most importantly, have patience, because depression overcoming depression is like requiring very small steps at a time. So it needs lot of patience and time to deal with such patients. Never lash out of anger or frustration on this patient. It will worsen the condition of the patient. In August 2020, central government has launched mental health rehabilitation helpline, which is named as Kiran. The toll-free number is there for the first aid, psychological first aid, and for diagnosis. You can always note down those number. That number I will repeat: 1800-599-0019. That is the central government mental health rehabilitation helpline number, which you can always contact with if you are feeling some depressive thoughts. And lastly, to sum up, that I would like to say that depression and suicidal thoughts are treatable conditions. They can be easily treated. It's just that empathy and good social support, and also seeking medical advice, taking treatment, counseling sessions will help, are key components which will help the person to come out and to battle with this illness. And those who are listening to me are battling with depression right now. I just want to share that please, whatever you are feeling right now is normal. It is okay. Take your time. Have patience. These feelings will not remain for lifelong. It is just a phase. You will come out of it. And many years down the line, when you will be alive and you will feel that I am glad I stayed. Please take care of yourself. All of you. Thank you. Thank you for listening.